Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to the weekly industry update at Keller Williams, Southeast Los Angeles. And let's go ahead and let's get this party started. Um, you guys all know to be TCPA compliant, make sure that if you're calling folks that they are not on the do not call list, that you've got permission to call. All right. And in Los Angeles County, we are looking at for sale properties being down 1.9% over last month. Now, remember, this category right here, we are literally looking at the first 6 days or first 7 days of the month, the 1st through the 6th of September, and compared to the 1st through the 6th of last month, August. Okay. That's all this first column looks at, is like this snapshot in time comparison month over month. Okay. And then this middle section compares the first 6 days of September this year to the last 6 days of to the first 6 days of September in 2024, right? So just a month to date over the first same year comparison. Okay. This one is more significant for us because it is comparing January through September, right, to last year, January through September. So this gives us a more comprehensive view of what the market is really, how it's really comparing to last year. Okay. All right. Just wanted to run that by you guys again, just in case. Okay. So for sale properties, like we talked about, down 1.9% over last month. Okay. Same time frame in August. And now up though 24.5% overall. So we have more inventory on the market, up 24.5%. As compared to last year. So that's a good sign, right? We need more inventory coming on the market. Solds are up 18.8% as compared to last month. Okay. And down 5.7% over last year, same time frame in September. However, it is down slightly 1.4% over last year. Okay, so this is keeping in line, right? It's not keeping in line with what they were talking about, what the trend reports were talking about, because we were really supposed to be up in sales this year. Okay, but that was before all of the uncertainty in the market. That was before all of the interest rates being held higher than expected. That was before all the job uncertainty happening with the layoffs in the federal government. So things like that impact the market and impact buyer confidence, and keeps them sidelined, okay, or keeps them hesitant to come into the market. And so that's why although we're seeing, look at that, we've got 25%, let's just say 24% more inventory. We're still seeing that we are still lower in sales than we were last year, to the tune of 1.4%. Okay. Pendants are down 19.1%. Pendants being in escrows are down 19.1% over last month, and down 0.8% over last year as compared to last year. So, and we're hoping that we will actually increase, right? We're through our summer, we're hitting our fall stride. I think mid-September is going to be the end of summer. And so we are only down 0.8%. That's not even 1%, right? Not even a full percentage. However, the reality is we're lagging behind last year's market. Okay. So we're hoping that fall will actually bring about an upturn, will heat up the market, because interest rates, as we will report later, have been declining for the last like 7 weeks. Okay. So that's a good sign for us. That's a good sign for buyers. All right. New listings down 1% as compared to last month. First 6 days in the month, though, remember that. First 6 days in the month. And then a 12.3% increase as compared to last year. So we are seeing an improvement in new listing inventory overall, right? So if you're looking at these numbers and you're wondering, okay, like this is actually 57,413 homes, right? That have come on the market, new listings that have come on the market this year since January 1, as compared to last year, which was 51,140. Okay, a 12.3% increase over last year. All righty. Average active price has gone down 0.7% over last year. Okay, I'm sorry, over last month has gone down 0.7% over last month and gone down 7.5% over as compared to last year. Okay, that's our average active price in LA County. All righty. Average sold price has gone down 8.8% as compared to last month and up 7.2% as compared to last year. So although last year sellers were asking 7.5% less than they are, excuse me, this year, they're receiving 7.2% higher than they did last year. Okay. So that's a good sign in LA County. Our average sales price has actually gone up 7.2%. Now, remember, the average of appreciation is normally between like 4 to 7%. On average, it's between 4 and 5%. So 7% getting appreciation, that is a little bit on the high side. Okay. But that is definitely a good sign. And that's because we haven't had a lot of inventory, right? So we still have buyer demand. We haven't had a lot of inventory. So hence you see sold prices going up. We are starting to see our market shift. I don't know if any of you guys have been looking at your MLS. And one of the indicators on the MLS is just you could start seeing those down arrows, right? If you're looking at some properties on the MLS, and then you start seeing this little red down arrow. That shows you like the trend is that agents have had to reduce their price. That's what that means. Okay. That there's a price reduction. And when you start to look at like when I pull up a zip code and I'm looking at a zip code and I'm starting to see, wow, like there's a bunch of down arrows. That means that agents are having to reduce their price, okay, in order to make the property more appealing, in order to get it sold. All right. Months
I
of
have
inventory.
noticed that.
Go ahead, Danila, say it again.
I have noticed that, but I also was going to speak to the fact that you said when the inventory increases, the property sits longer too, on the
Absolutely.
market.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happens is when inventory increases, properties are going to sit longer. Why? Because buyers have more choices, right? And so it increases the competition among the sellers versus increasing the competition among the buyers, right? So now sellers are having to price their properties more competitively so that they can get sold. So what's happening still, Danila, to your point, is that some sellers are still thinking that they can get like top dollar, what they could have gotten maybe last year, because the market was really moving a little faster last year, and not even so much last year, maybe the year before last, right? And so they're pricing their properties ahead, like I should say, they're pricing their properties behind the market. And what we mean by behind the market is they're missing out that because there is more competition, they've got to price more competitively, which means pricing yourself ahead of the market. Okay. So sellers are still living behind. They're living in behind the times. And in doing that, they're taking themselves out of the competition and putting their competition in front of them, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that made sense. We have got good, thank you. We've got a great class coming up, actually with Dominic Adams. He's going to be teaching how to do a CMA, and how to run his pricing program. He has a pricing strategy in his listing presentation, and he is going to be teaching that here is it this week? Let me find out, you guys. I got to give this information to you. This is super important, and I don't think I put it in my presentation. So give me 1 second to find it, because this is super important for you guys. Because you guys you're going to have to know this stuff. And this class is actually, we brought it in specifically. I don't know if any of you guys know, there's an agent. She's a mega agent. Her name is Elizabeth Doe. She is out of Huntington Beach, our Huntington Beach office. She has a class, a team, and her team does 200 plus units a year. Okay. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because they are she is the one who told our OP, our owner, that you guys really need to have Dominic teach this class in your market center. And so of course, Rich got right on it. And Dominic gave me a call. We're having him come in and we're having him teach this class. It's actually on the 16th. Okay, it's on the 16th. You have to RSVP because seating is going to be limited. You have to RSVP because it is a very detailed class. It's going to be from 11 to 1 and it's $39. Okay. So if you want to attend and you know, put your name in the chat and I will put you guys on the RSVP list. He actually sets your MLS up, you guys, like it's very detailed and it's a workshop, which means you have to actually, it's a workshop. So that means that you actually have to bring your laptop because we want you to be able to get your MLS set up and we want you to work through the class with us. Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you guys that shortly. I'm going to show you that I just put it in there because it was not in there, but I'm going to show you guys the flyer. All right, but it is not this week, it's next week, Tuesday. Okay. So keep that in mind. $39, September 16th, 11 to 1. Thank you so much, Daniela. All right. Yvette, this is a class you don't want to miss. So I would cancel the Portos table for that day. If I were you. Because this is a class that you don't want to miss. That's not one to miss. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and keep going. So months of inventory is down 15% over last month. We were at 4 months of inventory. We were at 4.7 months of inventory last month. We're at 4 months of inventory currently. Overall, we were at 3.1 months of inventory last year. We're at 3.9 months of inventory currently. That's 25.6% improvement over last year. So again, remember, as we get more inventory, days on market is going to increase, right? That is what you guys are seeing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to mute everybody just so that we don't have the background noise. All righty. All right. Average days on market has actually gone, sorry, let me see. I'm still having some background noise. There we go. Average days on market has gone up 14.3% over last month. Last month, we were at 35 days on market. Currently, we're at 40 days on market. And a 23.3% increase over last year. So last year we were at 30 days on market at this time in the year. Currently we're at 37 days on market. Okay. All right. Sold versus original list price, no change. We're at 96% of list price currently at this time in the month. And that was the same as last month. We have a 1% decrease overall. So last year we were at 98% of list price. Currently sellers are receiving 97% of their list price. That is a good thing, right? Sellers are still in the upper 90s of receiving their list price. And don't forget, if you guys want to take the class, make sure you put your names in the chat. All right. Now let's go to Orange County. Orange County for sale properties is down 3.7% over last month and and up 31.5% as compared to last year, which again, that's a good sign, right? We've got more inventory on the market as compared to last year. Sold properties are down 5.7% as compared to last month. So last month we had 318 properties on the market. Currently we have 300 properties on the market. That's that 5.7% decrease. All right. And then a 2.8% decline over last year overall. Okay. So in Orange County, we are definitely lagging behind our current projected sales closings for the year, okay, to the tune of 2.8% less than we did last year, because they were saying this year we should see about 500,000 homes in improvement in sales, right? And that's just not happening due to the factors that we talked about earlier, okay? Now, granted, that wasn't in Orange County, that was spread across the nation. But we expected to see a 1 to 2% improvement on sales. And right now we're seeing the opposite, right? So we're hoping that fall is going to bring about an improvement in the number of sales. Pendants are down 7.6% as compared to last month and down 1% overall. Okay, so pendants, properties that are in escrow are actually down 1% less than they were last year. Okay. New listings are down 35.6% as compared to last month. Now, again, this is just the first 7 days of the month, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's actually 6. Yes, I'm right. 6 days of the month. And then 9.6% as compared to last year, new listings. We've got new listings on the rise, 9.6% more new listings than we did last year, which is, again, that is a great sign because we still need the inventory, especially in Orange County. Orange County has had a scarcity of inventory for a very long time. And in other markets where you're seeing, like in LA County, where we're in that threshold of the normal market, that 4 months of inventory puts us in that normal market, or at least we're knocking on the door of that normal market. Well, in Orange County, you're going to see that that's not the case. We are still in a seller's market in Orange County. Okay, so average active price in Orange County has gone up 0.3% as compared to last month and down 7.1% as compared to last year overall. Okay, so 7.7% decrease as compared to last year. However, the average sold price has gone up 4.7% over last year. Okay, so although we're asking 7.7% less than we did last year, they're still receiving 4.7% higher than they did last year. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're giving out information that yes, you might see the sold prices or the average active prices actually be a little bit less than they were last year. However, sellers are still receiving about 4.7% of appreciation on their properties as compared to last year. Okay, so that again, that's a good sign, and that's right in that normal amount of appreciation year over year. 4.7% is right in that sweet spot. All right, months of inventory has gone up 6.6% over last month. Last month, we were at 3 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 3.2 months of inventory right now in these first 6 days of the month. So keep that in mind, you guys. Look at that. That's still a seller's market, right? And then overall, as you guys can see, we are still in, again, a seller's market. We were at 2.1 months of inventory last year at this time in September. And now we're at 2.8 months of inventory. So as you guys can see, still an improvement, but we're still in a seller's market, right? And you guys know what I'm about to say. Be hyper local, because this absorption rate could be a little bit different in different pockets of Orange County, right? Like Anaheim could be different than Westminster, could be different than Buena Park. Those areas, you've got to be clear about what actually is going on in that specific neighborhood. Okay, so you'll have to get hyper local in those specific neighborhoods, and you can do that through using the tools on the NS like RPR. Okay, that's your residential property resource, and that's your reporting tool. Okay, average days on market is gone down 5% over last month. Last month we were at 40 days on market. Currently we're at 38 days on market. And then 33.3% improvement over last year. So last year we were at 24 days on market. Currently we're at 32 days on market. Okay. So versus original list price has gone down gone up 1.1% over last month. Last month we were at 95% of list price. Currently sellers are receiving 96% of their list price, and a 2% decrease over last year. So last year sellers are receiving 99% of their list price. They are extremely happy. They are getting 97% of their list price currently, again, which is a good thing. They're still in the upper 90s. And remember, we are the ones that have the most influence over that number, right? We help our sellers to price their property so that they know that they can get the most amount for their property. If we counsel them correctly, that's how they can come out of this with 100% of their list price, because we price it right, or even better, a little bit more. Okay, let's see what we got here in the chat. Oh, thanks, John. All right. Oh, and Danila said I'm in. Okay, great. All right. let's go to Riverside County. I'm sorry, I'm just pulling a pen so I can write you guys' names down and make sure we get you guys. So I've got Tamila, John Baldwin. And this is in-house. You guys have to be here, okay? It's not, you can't do it online. It's in-house only. All right. So Riverside County, we have got for sale properties has gone down 2.6% as compared to last month. Now, Riverside County, San Bernardino County, their numbers tend to be, as you guys can imagine, a little bit different than LA and Orange County, right? I mean, they keep with the trends for the most part, but their numbers tend to be a little bit more conservative than LA and Orange County, but that's historically. But what we're seeing now is this migration of people moving to Riverside and to San Bernardino County, right? Why? Because they can commute. So they're like, hey, I can commute now, so they can commute. They can work from home, so they don't have to commute. So now they're moving out that way and buying bigger houses, getting more for their money, right? And working from home, let's just say 3 out of the 5 days of the week, and that's allowing them to migrate. So we are seeing a migration from like LA and into San Bernardino County, from Orange County into Riverside and San Bernardino County. So now you're starting to see our numbers, like these house prices in these areas, they really have gone up. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that, but I personally have seen that. So, I pay attention to these two counties because it really, we used to say, hey, take your client out to the IE. Now we have to say, you got to go even further. When we say the IE, we mean deep IE. You might have to go to Hesperia, right, to get a price that's in the 400s. You might have to go to Bakersfield, right, because you got to push way out now because these house prices out here, because of that migration, have gotten up there. So for sale properties has gone down 2.6% as compared to last month. And overall, a 12.3% increase. So even in Riverside County, we've got more inventory, which again, we needed them in all counties. Sold properties has gone down 8.1% as compared to last month, and 3.9% down over last year. So, and even more lagging behind last year's market in terms of closings. 2.4% on pending decrease over last month, and a 1.3% decrease over last year. So not quite as drastic as the closing number. And we're hoping again that fall is going to make a difference. New listings are down 9% as compared to last month. So new listings down 9% and up 4.4% over last year. So again, new listing inventory, even though it's not a huge increase, a 4.4% increase nonetheless, right? So that means we've got more new listings on the market in Riverside County than we did last year, to the tune of 4.4%. Average active price has gone down 0.8% as compared to last month. I'm sorry. So last month we were at 832,000 as the average active price. Now the average active price is 825,000. Okay. Same here. It's actually the same, right? Which is a little weird that it's the same exact numbers. So last year, at this time of the year, the average active price was 835,000, and currently it's 825,000. Okay, so it's not exactly the same, and that's a 1.2% decrease from last year. Okay, average sold price has gone up 5.5% as compared to last month, and up 1.6% over last year. So again, in Riverside County, although they're asking less, they are, as a seller, you're receiving a little bit higher than you did last year, to the tune of 1.6% higher than you would have sold for last year on average, right? In the county on average. So last year they were looking at 704,000 as the average sales price. Currently, the average sold price is 715,000. Okay. Months of inventory has gone up 11% as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 4.5 months of inventory. Currently, we're at 5 months of inventory. So again, here in Riverside County, this month right now, yes, you're sitting in a normal market. However, and that's only the first 6 days of the month, okay? So when I say that, just understand that this first 6 days in the month, it's not going to feel probably like a normal market. Okay. The behavior hasn't caught up yet. Okay. Because overall, we are still just knocking on that door because overall, we're at 3.6 months of inventory. Okay. So that's the reality. We have enough inventory currently on the market to be 5 months of inventory currently on the market right now in September. However, when you look at this from January to September, we really are at 3.6 months of inventory. Okay, a 16.4% improvement over last year, which is great. But again, we're still in that seller's market overall. Okay. All right. Average days on market is down 9.3% as compared to last month. Last month, we were at 54 days on market. Currently, we're at 49 days on market. And then an increase of 21.4% as compared to last year. So last year, we have 42 days on market, currently 51 days on market. Sold versus original list price, something is going on. Somebody had to discount heavily for this to be the case because there's no such thing as 38% of list price. There's some anomaly had to happen in this one. Because as you guys can see, last month sellers were receiving 95% of their list price, currently receiving 38% of their list price. I bet that seller is cussing somebody out. So that could not be the case. That must have been like a lot of times what ends up happening is, you guys know, a listing agent putting a property on the market, right? And then they did an oopsie. Like instead of the seller doing 1 point, like I don't even know how to say it. Maybe it could have been like a seller putting a property on the market. I mean, a listing agent putting the property on the market for 5.5 million when they meant to say 550,000. Right. And then so the MLS, unfortunately, doesn't give you like a pass. You don't have a button there that says, oops, I made a mistake. Let me go ahead. No, all you can do, unfortunately, is it looks like a price reduction. And that gets fed into our data. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But the other number will show you clearly. This number is, more comprehensive again, looking at year over year comparison. And that's a 3.1% decrease over last year. So last year we were at 97% of list price. Currently, sellers are receiving 94% of their list price. And let me see what we have in the chat here. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, absolutely. You're welcome. All right. Let's go. Okay, so we're done with Riverside County. Now on to San Bernardino County. So San Bernardino County for sale property is down 4.8% over last month and up 17.2% as compared to last year. Okay, so we have again more inventory from existing sellers coming on the market for existing homeowners that have come on the market, 17.2% higher than it was last year. Sold properties is down 13.8% at these first 6 days in the month and down 2.2% as compared to last year. So we don't have as many sales, but again, it's not a big number to overcome. Only 2.2% lower than it was last year. Pendants are down 19.2% over last month and down only 1% as compared to last year. Okay. New listings is down 24.1% as compared to last month. However, it is up overall 7.1% as compared to last year, which is good. We have some strong inventory in San Bernardino County. Average active price is down 0.6% as compared to last year and down 0.2%. I'm sorry, 0.6% as compared to last month and down 0.2% as compared to last year, which is not a big change. And sold price, the average sold price is down 6.9% as compared to last month. Last month we were at 609,000 as the average price. Currently it's at 567,000. Okay. And then overall comparison as compared to last year, we're 3.9%. So last year we were at 569,000 as the average sold price. Currently 591,000. Okay. Months of inventory is up 15.5% over last month. Last month, we were at 5.1 months of inventory, currently at 5.9 months of inventory. Now, overall, a 21.3% increase over last year. Last year, we were at 3.7 months of inventory, currently 4.5 months of inventory. So, out of all the counties, the only true county that is in a normal market is actually San Bernardino County. Okay, because year over year comparison is showing us right now we are at 4.5 months of inventory. Okay, so that puts us in that normal market. All righty, so that's a good sign if you're looking for a more I don't want to say chill market, but a normal market, a market where buyer and seller demand are in kind of in are going together. I don't know. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm having such a brain fog. But are in alignment with one another. That's a good word for it. Are in alignment with one another. That is going to be in San Bernardino County, where you probably aren't going to have as much like competition if you're a buyer on a property. You're probably going to have a seller willing to make some concessions. And again, it's all going to depend on the property, the neighborhood, and all of that, right? Because sometimes you have a really hot neighborhood and a really nice house goes for sale. It could be in a great school district and all that, and you'll still have a lot of buyer demand on that property. So I say all that to say you got to take it property by property, but overall, those are the conditions of a normal market. All right. Average days on market has gone up 2.1% in San Bernardino County. So last month we were at 47 days on market, currently at 48 days on market, and a 23.7% increase overall. So last year we were at 38 days on market, currently 47 days on market. Sold versus original list price has gone up 1%. Last month we were at 96% of list price. Currently sellers are receiving 97% of their list price. And last year, we were at 98% of list price, currently a 1% decrease because currently sellers are receiving 97% of their list price. All right. All right, guys, we made it through our market update. So let's get into our upcoming events, some of which I've already talked about. So today, got our industry update. We've got group coaching at 12 o'clock. And tomorrow we have scripts and role play or conversations and real play on Zoom at 9. And then on Wednesday, okay, that's at 9. And then on Wednesday, you guys, we're doing a special class called Run the AI Playbook. We're going to be talking about using artificial intelligence to make your business more efficient. So I really want you guys to come prepared. If you have your laptops, it would be great. We're going to be talking about the large models that are out there. You've got Gemini, you've got ChatGPT, you've got Gronk, you've got what's the other? I mean, there's several of them. I'm going to really talk more and go into more detail with, of course, ChatGPT, because that's one of the more popular models. Okay. But we're going to learn about AI and we're going to talk about using it to become more efficient. All right. Then we've got our tech workshop on Wednesday with Martha Calderon. You know that class is you guys so important to learn how to use your tech. Okay. Now broker hour, you guys know Ed has been out. And so he is still out. He is still recovering from his surgery. So you guys still keep him in prayer. But Franco and myself will be taking over broker hour so that you guys do not have to go without. So Wednesday at 10, Franco is going to be on Zoom. You guys, the links are still going to be there on the training calendar. Franco will be doing it on Wednesday. I will be handling it on Thursday. Franco's class is more Q&A related. And I will get out our topic on mine by later on today or first thing tomorrow, because we're trying to figure out what's going to be most beneficial for our agents right now. Okay. Coffee with a Capper is going to be on Friday. All right. So we got a really great training calendar this week. We've got the AI class. We've got your broker hours are back. You got Coffee with a Capper with Ernesto Flores on Friday at 11 a.m. And then you got a lunch and learn with our very own Rosie, and she is going to be talking about helping your first-time home buyers with down payment assistance. And just so you know, it doesn't even have to be a first-time home buyer. It just has to be someone who currently doesn't own a home and that is going to own it and is going to live in the property. Okay. So a lot of the down payment assistance programs aren't necessarily, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. Okay. Then, of course, we've got Ignite, that's ongoing. And we actually have a live Ignite class right now. It is with Christy Bailey out of the Orange County office. She is teaching it on Tuesdays virtually. If you guys want to participate, hit Diana up or hit myself up. It's live. So it's live, meaning it's live on Zoom, right? But you guys can participate in that. And she's an amazing coach and trainer. You guys will enjoy her. Okay. She's lively. She's not like, she's not boring. It's a nice class. Okay. Listen to the real estate, the Millionaire Real Estate, Millionaire Real Estate Podcast, MREA podcast. I listened to it this morning. It was really, really good. It's talking about the pre-listing process, pre-list, listing and post-list process. Okay. And he was really, he does a ton of business. And he was really talking about his system, the way that he has his system dialed in. So if you guys are interested in learning how to be more efficient at your listing, process, listen in on that. And then you guys know to sign up for your referral program with Airbnb. The reason why I bring this up is you guys know that properties are staying on the market longer. Sometimes the sellers will decide, you know what, I think I just want to rent it out. Well, Airbnb is how they can do that. Is one of the ways that they can do that if it actually is legal in their city. And the reality is that you guys can still earn referral fees for that. So don't miss out on that money. Okay. Airbnb you sign up by going to mreanotes.com/Airbnb. Okay. Listening on the One Thing podcast, if you're looking for things to do. Hi, Brandy, please RSVP for the list. Absolutely. Connie, I got you, my dear. Right. Let's see. All right. So listen in on the One Thing podcast if you're looking for things to listen to help you and your business. This is the class. It's called Value Demand. Learn how to price right and sell for top dollar. Okay. So he's going to teach you how to price your properties right. He's going to teach you the pricing strategy to sell more homes faster and for more money. All right. It's $39, September 16th, 11 to 1. All righty. I already have Danila, John, and Connie signed up. I'm going to put you guys on the RSVP list, and that's next week. Okay. You're welcome, Connie. All right. And then just one article that I wanted to share with you guys. Some of you guys already know this. Mortgage rates have continued to drop for 7 weeks straight, you guys. Okay. And this is ahead of the job reports. And we're seeing that that there was a surprising job reports, right? And so it basically has pushed us. The average interest rate is 6.5%, which is the lowest in the last 11 months. And so pretty much we are thinking that the Fed is going to cut the Fed rate. But you guys, because the interest rates have been dropping, most of the experts are saying is that the rate cut is already baked into the rate right now. Okay. So don't expect that, we're seeing 6.5% on the mortgage rates. Don't expect that they're going to cut the rate 0.5%, whatever they cut it, that you're going to see a direct correlation into a decrease in the interest rates. It is not directly related, right? The mortgage rate tends to follow the Fed rate. So meaning if it's cut, the interest rates typically go down. Okay. If it increases, the interest rates typically go up. But interesting enough, typically in the first couple of weeks after the Fed makes a move, interest rates normally tick up. Okay. And then after a couple of weeks, then it starts to trend downward or upward, whichever way it actually went with the Fed. So it's actually a very interesting phenomenon. I was listening to a mortgage broker the other day share the history of it and how it normally happens when the Fed cuts the rate. So, but just know right now, you guys ride the wave. Interest rates have been going down for 7 weeks. Make sure that your buyers know that right now interest rates are going down and they can take advantage of it right now before they actually keep going down and more buyers flood this market and push prices up. And that's the reality. Okay. So we really got to be out there telling our buyers how to take advantage of these interest rates and of this market. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? No? All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. I hope this was super helpful for you. I hope you got a lot out of it today. And
Thank you.
you're very welcome, Yvette, and all of you. And have an amazing week. I hope to see you guys here in class. Bye-bye.